Mark Spencer from Ripple Training here with some tips on how to use the RT Vintage effect from the Ripple Tools collection for Final Cut Pro 10. Here we are in Final Cut Pro 10. I'm in the Titles browser. I have the Ripple Tools collection selected, and we're looking at RT Vintage, which is a quick way to create a vintage look to your footage. So I have a few examples we're going to look at here. The first one is of this old building taken like kind of a western town, but it's a very, modern shot with modern colors, just with a typical camera. But we want to make this look like it was taken a long time ago, and that's exactly what this particular effect is great for. So I'm going to press X to mark a clip range. I'll select the RT Vintage effect and press Q to connect it to that clip range. Put the playhead over it and select it. And you can see immediately that the effect's applied, and we've got a vintage photo. Something looks like it's from the late 1800s. Now, there's a few things you can change about it. Let's look at the title inspector here. First, there's some quick tips that you can turn on that will give you some information here that you can refer to. Then I'll turn that off. There's a tint intensity slider that, if we bring it down, returns us to the original photo, but with a vignette. So we could also actually bring that vignette density down, and we get the full original photo back. In fact, if I tap the V key to disable the effect, we see no change at all because everything's been turned off. So I'll put the vintage density back up and the tint intensity back up. We can change the tint color, so you can tint it to be, something very different than that for any kind of look that you want, including black and white. So it's one way you can make a black and white kind of effect. I'll undo that. Undo. Now, undo is not working, so I'll go back to more of a kind of sepia look. Now, this adjustment A and adjustment B, I'll show you really on another clip. We can play with a little bit here, but kind of increases or decreases the contrast and can be helpful on certain kind of more problematic clips, but not really necessary on this clip here. The vignette density, we can remove or include this vignette. We can choose how round that vignette is, and like most cases, if the slider doesn't go far enough for you, drag on the value field. We can make it much rounder by dragging on the value field than just using the slider. So that's always something good. The feather, you can feather the vignette or have it no feather at all, but you probably wouldn't want that, but you can see you can bring it all the way down or feather it out. And you can also scale the vignette. So these vignette controls allow you to affect what the vignette looks like. That's pretty much it. Pretty straightforward effect. What I'm going to do is drag it forward across these other clips to show you a couple other examples. So I'll turn it off. I'll hit the V key to disable it so we can see what this clip looks like without it applied, and then the V key again to enable it. So immediately it has a pretty good impact on that clip. I'll disable it again and move over this last clip of this sailboat, which is very bright white here and white skies. So if I tap the V key now to enable it, let me turn that on and off a couple times. You can see it really kind of has some bad impact up here in the sky. A lot of blocking and pixelization on this particular clip. By the way, all this footage and all the footage in all these tutorials, these footages and these images are from iStockphoto.com, which we find very useful for stock footage. So in this case, I want to use these adjustments here. And it's really just a matter of playing with them to find the right level. You can see I can bring that sky right back. I can go too far, but I can play with these adjustments and really get a much better result than if I didn't have those adjustments. So I'll reset this. You see what it looks like by default, and then I can just kind of clear that sky right up. So those are 3 examples of how you could use the RT Vintage effect to create an old style look for your footage. Thanks for watching, and hope that was helpful.